Hey friends, Dave here with Transfer Express, and today we are diving into the popular trend of retro, oversized printed t-shirts, commonly referred to as bootleg tees. Now we're going to show you how you could easily create the same look with direct-to-film transfers, from designing the art all the way to the right blanks to print on, and we're even going to cover some game-changing DTF tips and tricks that are going to let you get those fades to the garment color on the edges of your artwork and lightweight soft prints that you could barely feel on the t-shirt. With so much to cover, we're gonna get straight to it. Let's go. Mimicking the style here of the 1990s and the early 2000s, this t-shirt trend is surging in popularity across quite a few different markets. Initially made popular by the hip-hop and music industry back in the day, which you may also hear these styles of t-shirts referred to as rap tees. Now this style was quickly adopted into sportswear and other markets and audiences beyond. Think those old sports tees or even retro band merch. Now, expanding out into almost any genre or audience, this 21st century spin on the classic look can be used for almost any business or event, not just arts and entertainment anymore. Now, this trend has been on such a rise recently, you may have seen it covered in articles from GQ all the way to The Guardian. Now first, let's break down some of the main aesthetic characteristics of these bootleg and oversized print designs. Now first up, we'll almost always have photos, or in many cases, a collage of photos, framed at the top, bottom, or sides by some text. Now the text here is commonly retro-inspired or more timeless in style. Now sometimes incorporating a chrome look or even some gradients for some added detail. The main serif or block fonts that you'll see typically used are accompanied by a script or something to kind of contrast it in a more decorative type to really drive this look home. Now these prints are also quite large, even oversized if you will, with 11 inches wide or larger being your baseline for design sizing. Now with Ultracolor Max Direct-to-Film available in a 22 by 22 inch image size, you're really only limited by the size of your heat press. Now don't be intimidated if these designs look super complicated. We're about to break it down and make it really simple for you to recreate one of these styles yourself. And for every great piece of art, we need a canvas. And in the t-shirt business, we use t-shirts. So you're typically gonna see this bootleg or oversized type of print on black or dark colored garments. Think navy or dark greens like we have here in some of our examples. Now these designs pair really well with some of the more boxy or loose fitting 100% cotton tees, which is great to keep your costs low and your profit margins high. So think styles like the American Apparel 1301, Comfort Colors 1717, the Port & Company PC 099, or maybe even the PC 54, or something like the Gildan 6-ounce hammer tee, or a variety of other t-shirt options. We actually reviewed quite a few of them in this video right here. Now we'll be printing on a few of these in just a few minutes, so more on that then. Now with these photographs commonly fading to the garment, this look has been achieved only with direct-to-garment prints or expensive simulated process screen printing. That really is only going to make sense financially in very large quantities. Now, direct-to-film heat transfers are fantastic, but the transfers do need to have a hard, defined edge to the print. No soft fades that go from opaque inks to transparent, seamlessly fading to the fabric color. But have no fear. We've got a method that you could use with just a little bit of Photoshop knowledge, and I'll show you how we can employ a stylized halftone effect with our direct-to-film transfers to achieve this awesome look. So let's grab our photos that we want to use and head right on over into Adobe Photoshop. Now, if you don't have Adobe Creative Cloud, that is okay, no worries. You could actually try this for yourself with a free 7-day trial of Photoshop. Now, I do want to preface that what we're about to dive in here is a little bit more advanced artwork-wise than we typically show here on our Transfer Express YouTube channel. But I'm going to try to stay fairly slow and easy to understand. Photoshop is an incredibly powerful program. There's a reason it's the industry standard, so we're only going to focus kind of on the features and tools that really relate to our process here. There's tons of videos elsewhere on the internet that could teach you how to use it with a lot more of those features. Now, we'll start here by creating our project or canvas, and this is a very important step. We're going to want to ensure that our size and resolution is set to exactly what we'll be printing, so we have a print-ready file at the end of this, and don't have to make any resolution or sizing adjustments later. So we'll set our canvas size here to larger than what we want to print. We can always crop down later if we don't use all of our space here. So we'll just set it to 14 inches by 16 inches high, and that should do the trick. We'll also want to ensure our resolution is set here to 300 pixels per inch. This is effectively the same as DPI, and 300 here is the standard for crisp resolution with anything being printed, including direct-to-film transfers. Now, since we'll be using digital photos, and I don't want the colors to skew here at the start, we're going to stay in an RGB color space. Next, let's drop in our artwork. For our example here today, we'll be using this collage for our basketball team. It's already been set up on a black background, which is the exact color of shirt we will be printing. Now, this half-toning process will only work if the artwork is on the background of the color of the shirt that you will be printing on. And it works best again with black or very dark colors. Of course, you could do it on white as well. Now, you can see portions of the artwork fade into the background here too, which is really going to give us this unique effect with our halftones like no other direct-to-film print that you have ever seen. Now, once we're happy with our placement and sizing, we'll save this file out. You can save this out as a PSD, also known as a Photoshop file. Now, once we have our original at our print size saved, let's go up to image mode and select grayscale. Now, next, we're gonna pull up our levels and adjust them, ensuring that we bring the black up here on the left to where our histogram shows that the black levels are. This is going to ensure that our background is not a dark gray, but black, which if it's gray, it's going to show up as a halftone effect like this down the road. Now, this is something that we want to avoid. You want this to be black, not any dots in this. Now, if you get this type of effect in the next step, you could always back up and undo, adjust your levels, and then continue. Now, once our black and white levels are set in our image, we're going to go into our effects panel. We're gonna select blur in the drop-down here and Gaussian blur to apply some blur to our file. Let's keep it around 2.5 or 3 pixels just to soften the edges slightly for smooth transitions and no hard artifacts or anything here in our halftone. Now that our image is prepped, we're going to halftone it. So let's head back up to image at the top and we'll click mode again. But this time we're going to select bitmap at the top, which is going to give us a hard, defined black and white image with our halftone dots. Now you're going to get a dialog box pop up right here with some options. Now the first, we'll want to ensure that we have 300 pixels per inch selected here for our high resolution file. And then under method, we want to select halftone screen. Now these next settings are very important as well, as we want to ensure our artwork is going to meet the minimum line requirements for our direct-to-film transfers, which here at Stahls and Stahls Transfer Express is a tiny 0.018 inches or just under half a millimeter. So we're going to set our frequency at 14 lines per inch, and then next we'll set our angle to 22.5 for a kind of screen printed look, and we're going to set our shape to ellipse or round. I personally think ellipse looks a little bit better, but you could choose whatever you think looks best for your artwork. Once we click OK, we have our image broken up here into little dots, but we're actually just going to use this as a guide to essentially create a mask or selection to grab from our original full color artwork. So first step is we have to change our color mode back to RGB, which you may have to change to grayscale first and then to RGB. If it prompts you for a size ratio here when switching to grayscale, let's keep this at 1. Now, once we're back into RGB color mode, we can place or drag and drop our original full color file that we just saved out as a PSD. Now, with our artwork aligned directly over the halftone, which it should import in perfectly, we're going to turn our layer visibility off by clicking on this little eye right here in the layers panel. So we just see our halftones again. Then we'll go up to select, and in the menu here, select color range. Now click on any white area here, as your cursor will automatically turn into an eyedropper, and ensure that the slider in the pop-up is at least 100 or above. Now with our white areas selected, we'll modify our selection to ensure even our smallest of dots are going to meet that minimum line weight. So we're going to go up to select in the top menu, then modify, and we'll go out here in the flyout and click expand. We're going to want to expand our selection here by just 3 pixels, and we'll click OK. Now with our little dancing line selection here, we can turn back on our full color image layer, select it in the layers panel, and either mask it or simply copy using Control-C and then paste it using Control-V, which is going to automatically create us a new layer here too. Under that layer, we could click this little plus button in the bottom of the layer window, and that's going to create a new layer. Now we want to fill this layer with our garment color to check our halftones and how they look. So click this little circle icon to create a new fill layer. Select solid color at the top and pick your garment color. For us in this example, it's going to be black, and then just click OK. And now you can admire your wonderful stylized halftone effect. You can see that we have a great fading to the background effect as the dots here get smaller, as well as utilizing the garment color here in the shadows, which is going to give us a barely there print feel on the garment while still keeping and giving us a photorealistic look. Utilizing a quality direct-to-film transfer here, like Ultra Color Max, is going to be absolutely paramount. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Any direct-to-film transfer that has quality issues printing or any out-of-registration white ink is going to look pretty bad here with these halftones. You see these dots here that are really close to the garment color? Well, with less than premium DTF, you're going to have some little crescents around each one of these dots, making your sweet design look, well, less than sweet. I also want to mention that Ultra Color Max has some of the smallest minimum line weight requirements in the industry. So you may need to make these dots larger for other DTF transfers, also kind of spoiling the effect or making it look a little bit more stylized than you intended. But we are not done. We need to save this out for print. So let's turn off the visibility on every layer except our top halftone layer. Now we're going to want to save this out as a high resolution PNG with transparency for optimal file size and easy uploading into the EasyView Online Designer. Saving as a PSD or TIFF is great, but the file size may be just a touch too large to easily upload, or we're just going to be waiting on it. The PNG will work fine. So let's go up to File, click Save As, and ensure we click here as Save As Copy. This is going to unlock all of our file types where we could go down and select PNG, name our file, and save. Well, that's it for Photoshop right here. Let's head on over to the EasyView Online Designer at transferexpress.com to simplify building the rest of this direct-to-film design with just a couple clicks. Now, EasyView Online Designer is a secret weapon whether you have any graphic design experience or not. With over 10,000 pieces of customizable clip art and layouts, as well as 250 fonts to choose from, you have a seriously powerful heat transfer designing tool right here at your fingertips. And it's completely free. We're gonna start here by changing our background color to our garment color by using this box down in the bottom left of our artboard. Next, let's import our halftone design. So we'll click on Upload and select our new halftone file. Now on Image Import, it's going to prompt us with some options like removing a white background, but since we have a transparent background, we'll select Keep Original. Now on the next screen, we'll select Import Full Color, and just like that, our halftone design is imported right here into EasyView. So let's change our transfer type here while we're at it too. Just click in the lower left on Transfer Types under Print Method, and we'll select Full Color and Ultra Color Max. With Ultra Color Max direct-to-film transfers, you do have 3 options for ordering: square inch pricing by the image, or a choice of small or large gang sheets. Now, gang sheets afford you savings right off the bat and pricing as low as 4 cents per square inch at quantity. For our example here, let's just select the square inch pricing. Now, with our print method set and our graphic imported at size, let's add more of our elements, including our text. Now we're going to use layout QWN85 as our building block. You could find it here in Sports under Championship, or just search by the layout number. Now one click adds it right into our artboard, and we could set our color here in the edit menu along the left-hand side. Let's just choose one of these lighter colors here so we could see our artwork well. And now it's time to customize. With just clicking and dragging, we can move these elements around in our artwork and just deleting any elements that we don't want. We could just click and edit our text and see it all update in real time right in front of us. You could adjust your letter spacing or even add outlines on the text here. We could even bring in any secondary colors. Here, let's use this green to complement our team's jerseys. Now we'll make any final adjustments, like adding distressing if we want, say here on our text, or we could even use these splatter patterned clip arts and change the ink color to no ink here to have more control of how we want the distress to look. Now, speaking of using the no ink swatch, let's have this basketball here overlap our text at the top for a nice, real dynamic element in our design. We'll grab a circle from our basic shapes and adjust our objects here as they're layered using the arrange commands right here at the top. So we could send these objects to the back so our basketball overlaps them. And here, with the no ink circle kind of sandwiched in the middle, it's going to knock out the text behind, and we're going to see a print preview here in a moment to ensure everything is set up properly. Now, I do want to mention, be careful not to resize the half-toned artwork right here. Adjusting the scale here, smaller may make these dots under the print minimums too small to print properly, leading to them, well, not lasting in the wash. That's why it's best to set up the print size that you need it right at the start. Now, once we're happy with the design, we could save it for later or move on to our next step. In the next step here, we're going to stop at our live proof. Now, I love this. This step is going to identify any areas that may fall under the print standards, and it's going to highlight them for us, just to ensure that any small details here are going to be okay. I like to use an analogy here like the seeds on a strawberry. If we lose a couple of seeds, it's still totally gonna look like a strawberry and nobody's gonna notice. But if you get this highlight over, say, some text, it's likely going to be unreadable, so it's going to be better to fix it, but you could use your best judgment. Now here, we could zoom in and check out all of our halftone dots and see that we're actually gonna print perfectly here. Now, once we're set, we could add it to our cart and check out. And here, lightning fast, our transfers are printed. Okay, Express might be in our name, but we're actually not that fast. But we are pretty fast. All Ultracolor Max orders submitted before 8 a.m. Eastern ship the same business day. Standard. No rush fees needed, so you're getting your transfers and you're ready to apply fast. Now, back at our heat press, Ultracolor Max applies in just 15 seconds with a single step application and a quick, effortless hot peel, all at 290 degrees. So while we're printing on 100% cotton here, it is safe at a temperature for most fabric types, even 100% polyester, spandex, or lycra. Now let's load our shirt here onto the Hotronix auto clamp. We're going to preheat to remove some moisture from our fabric and ensure we are wrinkle free. Now don't let anyone tell you different. Organic fibers and fabric like cotton soaks up moisture from the air, and it steams up and out when on the heat press. So when you're trying to push ink down, when the steam is fighting up, the adhesive isn't going to bond to the fabric like it's intended to. So it's best to get that steam out, well, before you print. After the pre-press, we'll just align our transfer to the garment and close the press for our full application. The auto clam opens automatically and we could peel our carrier away immediately, leaving behind a perfect print. And man, you can't even feel this print on the shirt. It's so soft, nobody's going to believe you it's a direct-to-film transfer print. It stretches, moves, and allows your t-shirt to breathe, making it incredibly comfortable for your customers to wear. Now here you can see that we use this same easy view layout with a different image. Here for motorsports, showing the versatility of the layouts that are preloaded and customizable in the EasyView Online Designer. Now even here on this other print that was also built in EasyView with custom elements and just some text, we printed this one on a green shirt to show you don't always have to do black. Now you might be worried about durability too, but here with Ultracolor Max, you don't have to be. Here you could see these two prints here are 55 washes apart. And while this one was a test, we wanted to show what dots too small and below minimums look like. And while they are very, very subtle here on our fresh print, we've lost a lot through the wash. So be sure you are meeting those print minimums. Although, I'm not really sure a general customer is even going to notice if we lost any of these dots here. And as you can see, you could use this halftone effect with almost any piece of artwork, even for, say, band merch like we have right here. Oh, and this one, yep, it's been washed 50 times too. So there you have it. Go make some absolutely incredible direct-to-film prints with EasyView Online Designer and Ultracolor Max from Transfer Express and Stalls. Is this something you're gonna try out? Been doing something similar yourself? Looking to see what DTF could do for your business? Well, just let us know down in the comments section below. We love to keep the conversation going with creatives, entrepreneurs, and business owners just like you. And as always, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe right here to the Transfer Express YouTube page for all of the best t-shirt business tips, tricks, inspiration, and education that we're dropping every single week. But until next time, I'm Dave. Happy pressing.